Purchases made by Alipay on 11/11 topped 9.3 billion, a 60% jump thanks to Alibaba's efforts to globalize Singles Day. It caught on in Russia and Brazil, for example, but sales to customers in the U.S. were not very robust. I'm here with Scot Wingo, the founder and CEO of ChannelAdvisor, for his take on 11/11. Scot, how you doing today?
Hey Tim, how are you? Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, good, thanks. Scot, with all the recent hype of late about Alibaba here in the States, why do you think the U.S. consumers' lack of Singles Day participation can be attributed to?
So this is started in China, and it's largely driven by Alibaba. They kind of are the ones that effectively co-opted this holiday. And it's Singles Day, 11/11, and I think the challenge in the U.S. is we already have our shopping holidays pretty well thought out. So these things have a kind of a yin and a yang to them. There's the consumer demand and expectations, but then retailers kind of drive a lot of this. So we obviously have Thanksgiving now, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and those 5 days in that period. You're starting to hear people talk about the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, trying to make that a bit of a holiday. So I think part of the challenge in the U.S. is we already have these holidays that we've established. And in fact, I think they kind of copied the idea of Cyber Monday for Singles Day. Then also, it's just kind of early for our kind of mindset for holiday shopping to be kind of before Thanksgiving, and you're only a week or so outside of Halloween. That being said, I do think that your readers and the viewers of this should keep an eye on this, because one of the successful components is that a lot of people don't know about, called AliExpress. So that's one aspect. And then Alibaba did put out some of the top brands, and what's really interesting is in many categories, Western brands are the top sellers on Singles Day. So it's definitely something that we're keeping an eye on, and recommend that U.S.-based retailers monitor and think about what their strategy should be. Right now, I think their strategy should be more kind of exporting into it versus expecting domestic demand.
Scot, with Cyber Weekend right around the corner, do you see Alibaba ramping up its marketing here to try to capitalize on U.S. shoppers, or are we going to see increased activity from its 11 subsidiary?
Yeah, so far I think 11 Main is kind of a hobby from an acquisition they did, so I don't think that's their main thrust into the U.S. market. What I would say that I think to keep an eye on is this AliExpress offering. A lot of people don't realize, but it's kind of quote unquote small in Alibaba standards, so it's only doing $10 billion or something on that order, but it's growing very rapidly, almost doubling, like Tmall itself. And what that is Chinese manufacturers exporting out of China. We actually have a robust business at ChannelAdvisor there, helping Chinese manufacturers export and sell on the eBays and Amazons. The #1 feature request we're getting right now is AliExpress. AliExpress is very big in Russia, Brazil, and then also the U.S. So what you're finding is Alibaba is starting to do some promotion. They did a big Singles Day 50% off promotion here in the U.S. And the U.S. was their number 5 or 6 country for that site. So I do think that they're ramping that up. And then in interviews with Jack Ma and their CEO Joe Hsieh, they did say that they want to make this a global holiday over the next 3 to 5 years. So I think they're going to increasingly have more of a global, out of China kind of message. So this year, I don't think we're going to see much out of Alibaba and its subsidiaries, but I think next year we'll see quite a bit.
Scot, what kind of lessons can the U.S.-based marketplaces learn from 11/11 that they can use to refine their Cyber Weekend and holiday strategies?
So one of the things Alibaba appears to have done well is manage the so they do a really good job of getting all their merchants to have sales on one day. So we kind of spread them out and are less quote unquote organized here because we don't have an organizational body like Alibaba is there in China. Then so that's #1. So we kind of lose some of the impact of a single day by spreading it out, and maybe that's okay as long as the whole holiday is strong. The other one that I thought was very interesting last year they had some shipping issues getting so much product delivered, and it seems like this year they really bolstered that, and it's kind of a different mindset. So here in the U.S. you have kind of Amazon that kind of builds out everything and owns it, so they have this total, we're going to own the whole infrastructure. Then you have folks like eBay that kind of really outsource it to small merchants, Alibaba has this really interesting thing where they've built a very robust ecosystem. So they have all these fulfillment center partners. They own a couple, but they're mostly third parties, and they do a really good job of organizing those and saying, hey, what's your capacity? How do we make sure consumers are going to get this $9 billion worth of product we're trying to ship out on one day? So I think those are some of the things that they did really well that we could learn from.
Excellent. Scott, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and we'll be talking with you soon.
Thanks. Have a great holiday, and hopefully you do a lot of online shopping.